The purpose of this space is to create a very safe environment for people to share a moment of their lives.
I'm Fender Benavides, sales and finance for drive promoters in Coquitlam. We have over 1,200 vehicles in our dealer group. Guaranteed financing available. No credit, bad credit, or new to the country. I am here to help. Salamat po.
Located 1 block north of St. Paul's Hospital, Downtown Denture Center features complete and partial teeth restoration options. With 35 years experience, Anthony Chung offers mobile services and emergency repair consultation 24 hours a day. Downtown Denture Center, just off Nelson at 970 Burrard in the lobby of the Electra Building. Foodie World has 75,000 square feet of imported and domestic products, with a large selection dedicated to our Filipino kababayans. With an in-house butcher, variety of seafood, and produce from around the globe. Open every day until midnight. Foodie World, 1 block east of Number 3 Road off Sea Island Way in Richmond. Centrally located in the Richmond Auto Mall since 1984, Richmond Honda features a large selection of Honda certified pre-owned vehicles. Inside the showroom, Honda's newest models are displayed for viewing, and the dealership is staffed 7 days a week for financial consultation.
All the stories that you're going to hear tonight are personal in nature, some of which can encroach on dark topics as addiction, abuse, self-harm, and you may get triggered by them. And if you do, there's a beautiful lounge to the back of XY that you can go down, chill out, get your composure. When you're ready, you can come and join us. Going through this May 3rd, 2013, give you that date, going through this 5-year cycle of, I call it transformation. It felt like a long, long time has passed because I had to go look at myself every day in the mirror and fight at first fight the voices that were in my head telling me that you're never going to get out. Then eventually they changed and they shifted. And then I understood that I had to leave and let go of everything that I've created and identified with in order to enter this new space. And that was absolutely terrifying because I had to let go of everybody and I wouldn't do it. It was only a few months ago that I sat down and looked at my phone and decided, you know what, I'm going to delete everyone that I haven't spoken to in a year. 300 people disappeared off my phone. And then I looked at that and, okay, let's go to Facebook, and started deleting people and unfollowing people. And then I felt lighter, ironically. It's like, I haven't seen these people in a year. Why would it matter? And it got to the point when I started cutting that there was a handful of people left that I couldn't cut. When I sat down and was very, very, very honest with myself, these were the people that had access, like, you know, those people that if you actually went and said hi to them, like the gates of hell would open up and then all the demons would come flooding out. They were the gatekeepers. And I didn't want to lose access. So the dark part of me didn't want to lose access. But I finally let go of them and stepped into this new space that was waiting for me, stepped into the space, and I, again, felt completely alone. I'm like, I don't know anyone here. Imagine a big empty white space and you don't know anyone. And then I was fighting it. And what I didn't understand, by fighting this space, I was sending out the wrong type of energy and everyone was avoiding me. And only until I decided to give in did everything come rushing in. And in fact, that's why we're all here now. I understand that now, and it's taken me 5 years to get here. Our next speaker had to embrace a similar journey because she entered a new space, and I invite Marylee Stephenson to the stage to share her story.
It's true, there are very many ways you can go into a whole new world. Sometimes very, very drastic ways. A war can happen. Someone can die. Something drastically can happen with your health, and you enter into a whole new world. And that's happened to me a lot of times in life. I've been fortunate that it's been not those unfortunate ways. And I think of it also almost like as revolutions in my life, these new ways, where for whatever reason, I see life entirely differently, or perhaps more accurately say, I see it through a new lens, not just a new lens. And I can think of examples like bird watching. When I was 21, I discovered bird watching, and that changed everything in the sense that everywhere I looked, there were things connected to that. I read, I went everywhere. I wrote books. I wrote a book on the national parks. I wrote a book on the Galapagos. You're never bored being a bird watcher, even among other bird watchers, which can be a question at times, I suppose. But everywhere you go, you can be driving across the most bleak, straightest road in Canada is the one from the border of Ontario to Winnipeg, which I've done a lot of time. But even then, it's fascinating what will be coming up, what will be there. And then I think when I was in college, I was at Berkeley, and there was the free speech movement and went on and on with that stuff, got arrested and all. But as they talked with each day at these rallies, they would say, but what is really going on here? And I was just like super straight. I don't mean my sexual orientation, I mean my class. I was super straight, and I had never heard anybody say, this is early 60s, that there was something below the surface. And they would say, no, that's not why they want us to move. That's not why they don't want us to have these information tables out there. It's because of, and it goes up to the Republican Party and who's running what and whatever. And it never occurred to me that there was another way. And so from then on, I have kept that lens, sort of left-wing, pseudo-Marxist, whatever, but it was a revolution in my life. Women's movement, of course, and I can see with our age range here that this is familiar to a number of you. And so then again, you understand better, or believe that you do, what's really going on, and you are in a whole new world because you look at everything. Did you watch Aretha Franklin? Yeah. Did you ever notice in that funeral session, there's nothing but men on that stage. And back there in the back, there's a nice choir. But there are no women on that stage, at least the hours I watched. It's just these men in big suits, all the different preachers from everywhere. And we won't discuss the one that felt up Ariana Grande, right? But like you would not have, look, I mean, Aretha means a lot to me too, but I would not have seen that, and how I interpret that there's Aretha makes me feel like a natural woman, and there's nothing but a sea of men. So women's liberation stage, and then of course, especially given my birdwatching interest, there is the environmental change. Let's just jump off a cliff now, I mean, but certainly the kind of awareness of you, what you believe to be, what I believe to be understanding of what's going on. And I debate every day thinking about my grandnieces and nephews, and it's an awful thought to think of those wonderful people that you do not envy the life ahead of them. Not just that you worry for them, but what are they going to be doing, scrabbling for water and stuff, So anyway, that certainly, though, I have to say, is a whole new world of thinking and of how to think. But I want to tell you today about my most recent one, and at 75, I think it's something that I'm still getting the new worlds and holding on to them. I decided that I would embark on an additional career. I mean, I am a senior, modest, limited income. And so I thought, well, you want to do something that you can do for a while. I actually did retail for a while, but you got to give up on that. Standing up 8 hours a day, no. Selling birdseed to people, even if you know about birds, no. You don't want to keep that up. And so I thought, okay, I will build on strings. You know that phrase, right? I'll build on strings. So I think, well, you got a Ph.D., you can read and write, whatever. So why don't you learn how to teach English as a second language? I thought, well, it's my first language. Shouldn't be a problem. I can teach other people. This was a mistake. So, no, I worked it all out. I read there's actually quite a shortage of qualified teachers of English as a second language. Thank good, they're going to need me. They won't matter about how old I am or anything. They'll hire me, they're desperate. So I sign up in this school. It's run by Immigrant Services Society, which is a marvelous organization and huge. And they're so huge that they have a whole separate language and career college. And I looked around, I compared cost to everything. They come out the best. And I also prefer, given my politics, that it's a non-government, that it's an NGO, not for profit. Very much a business, but not for profit. So I sign up. You have to show them that to be the teacher of second English, you have to have finished 4 years of university. I say, okay, I'm with that. They say, well, you have to bring something. So I bring them the PhD. I found my Ph.D. the certificate. I say, okay, here it is. I was glad I could find it. It's the first time I've used it since like 1975. But I get into this class, and there's just 9 people, and it is incredibly grueling. It is 5 days a week. 3 hours a day, plus homework for 2 months. And that is really very, very grueling to sit with that all that time. And as I say, there's 9 people. Only one of the other ones is originally English speaking. The other people are from everywhere. And it's not a refugee program. They have refugee program, but they serve immigrants, and many of the people were immigrants. Well, I was from the States, but they're quite the same. And let's face it, it was 70-something, and I was white. It goes a long way. But anyway, so there we are. And people were there was a woman from the Middle East. I get a little personal here, so I'm just being a little more general. From Eastern Europe, a person from Tunisia, a person from Malaysia, a person from China. Did I say the Turkish fellow? One of our teachers had been a refugee from Croatia, the Serbo-Croatian War and everything. So it was a very varied group, and they concentrate in this language training on you being comfortable so that you can help other people be really comfortable, because that's the only way they're going to learn, or the best way they're going to learn. So we started our classes. Each day is a different thing. There's pronunciation, there's grammar, there's reading and writing, there's listening and talking. Real problem with that one. And then overall methods, method. So the grammar. The teacher said, and I'm still in shock, the teacher said, there are 12 tenses in English. Did you know that? And then the other people who, for the most part, studied languages very heavily back 10, 15 years ago, back in Belarus or wherever they were, they knew that stuff. You couldn't understand some of them speaking, okay? But they knew that stuff. And I'm thinking, fuck, 12? 12 of these? I mean, I know there's, present, I've got present down, and then past and future. But there's present continuous participles. I don't know. It was horrible. And then you had to write lesson plan, you had to do presentations. And so every other day, and this was my also whole new world. I assure you, it was my whole new world. Every other day I got to feel stupid. I mean, truly stupid. it made me think of all, you know how in your class, when you're in grade school, there's always one dumb kid? I felt for that little Richard in grade 2. I mean, it was terrible. And it is paralyzing. And you do think, see, now you think it's because you're 74, 75, you know. They just thought they were dumb. But I felt dumb and stupid, and it was horrible, horrible. And I several times wanted to quit. But I thought, Marylee, you can't quit. You haven't quit anything ever in your life before, and you can't quit now. And then the next day, there'd be something that worked, you know, and they were all so friendly and so supportive, which was wonderful because we often worked as teams. And if it hadn't been for my teammates, I'm not kidding you, I would not have passed. It was horrible. It was horrible. And then pronunciation. Let me tell you about pronunciation, okay? You get all of these even videos of the relationship between the upper jaw, I think this is the jaw, but the upper part, and then there's 3 sections of your tongue, and then it's the relationship between, and the height of your tongue. Do you take these kind of things? No. Okay, there's the height of your tongue, and then the place of your tongue, and then where your jaw is, see? And people, they actually learn that back in Belarus, see? They knew that. They can't say it now, but they could. But then the worst part was you had to do a presentation. And so you had to demonstrate that because it's like the Russian eggs thing, that on the one hand, you're a student learning to be a teacher, but then they're teaching you as a student. And then your presentations are you're a teacher to students. So it's always was very confusing. This is, as far as I'm concerned, where age does come in. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. But anyway, so you have to do these presentations, and you have to demonstrate things like th and th. And do you know what? There's a difference between the th and thin and the th and that. I failed that part. And so you have to, and then you have, like, you hold up a mirror, you know, and you go, okay, here's how to do the T. Do you see it? Do you see it? Is there fog on the mirror? And I'm thinking, I'm going to spit on the mirror. What's happening? You know, and you go through all those things. It was terrible. And you can tell, like, I don't really suffer from stage fright, eh? But I did. Every time, you know, I'd be dreading. I have terrible dreams at night, you know, like and stupid dreams that I was stupid. And then you'd get there, and in fact, you were stupid. And they would, and it's not just, you know, in comedy, because my friend Sid is a wonderful comic. She's here tonight. And you know, every once in a while, you get what are called pity laughs. She doesn't, but you get pity laughs. So at the end of each of these presentations, people, they would applaud, you know, but when it was me, it was pity applause. I got pity applause. I'm not kidding. It was terrible. But then there was all of this going on, and there was all of this new world, like, what is language? How is it put together? How is it articulated? And to look at it from the outside, because if you're from the inside, it doesn't help you, right? It doesn't help you at all. And in fact, it can get in the way, like with the Russian guy. He knew everything, so he never felt he had anything to learn. This is really an impediment when you're in a class. But anyway, but getting to know people, I moved more into this world because I listened to the young woman from the Middle East who had been a civil engineer and who came here, and, you know, as a regular immigrant. You cannot ladder into being a civil engineer here within any amount of time. And by then you have a family, your family came with you, you have children, you have other children. It's a whole other world for you. The person who had married a Canadian somewhere else came home and they were not the Canadian they had met them. Wasn't who they thought they were. And then here they are with a family, with children, with relatives. What do they do now in their life? And how hard they worked and dreamed and everything. Or the person from Tunisia who had come here and was learning to be a cook. He was a sous chef, right? But all that it takes, and this is not, again, the refugees. This is all these standard practices. What it takes for people to get through all of that. You know, and so I began to learn more about that. I mean, sure, I'd known immigrants before, but have I ever sat down really and listened? Maybe a friend or two, but have I ever really? And so that expanded a world, or was a new world expanding. And now I'm just one of those people on the transit you don't want to sit next to, because people are talking, and in transit it's tremendously multicultural, right? I go back and forth to North Van, or I work with indigenous artists down in the downtown east side, or I go out to Richmond and all that to work with people, and I'm thinking, okay, now how did they make that sound? And did their tongue go up or down? What if I had to teach that? What would I say? How do you make that one? And so everywhere I go, it shapes everything. And even further, because now the course is over, although I'll be doing a practicum, the other English speaker and I, we're already working together, building up a little practice. And I've done 3 now sessions of teaching English, to little Chinese children in China online. And that there is a whole world in itself. All of that kind of stuff, and all the technical stuff, right? All the things hitting the right buttons at the right time, or you lose China, it's just not really good. And so it's this whole world that is, I think, going to be with me a long time. And again, at 75, there's probably time for another world or 2 also. Thank you very much. Hey, guys.
My name is Jeevan Bath. Suki Bath has been selling quality pre-owned vehicles for 37 years. All of our vehicles come with a certified inspection report, and history reports are available for all vehicles. All of our sales staff is fully licensed. Visit sukibathmotors.com today.
Located 1 block north of St. Paul's Hospital, Downtown Denture Center features complete and partial teeth restoration options. With 35 years experience, Anthony Chung offers mobile services and emergency repair consultation 24 hours a day. Downtown Denture Center, just off Nelson at 970 Burrard in the lobby of the Electra Building.
So through this, after I called on myself, what happened on the days that followed was, well, pretty amazing now that I'm paid attention to it. One of which, so Archangel happened. I had Sunday to go and relax, and then I catch an early morning train to Ottawa to go meet my men's group brothers that are out there. I invite Sudame to the stage to share her story.
Good evening. The first time it happened, I was 5. I was walking down the 3rd floor hallway of the apartment building in our neighborhood, and I could hear someone behind me. I had a little panic for a moment, thinking, because I was 5 and I was scared. So I started to walk a little faster, and their pace matched mine. They started to quicken their pace. So sheer panic filled my entire body, and I started running for my life, and they were running after me. I ran down the hallway and then down the stairs, and then I took the 2nd floor and tried to get the distance as much as I could to get away from them. And all I could think about was I was running for my life. As I got down to the ground floor, I could see the exit door, and I ran as fast as I could, and I gathered all my strength and courage and thought, if I could just get to the end of the hall, if I could just get through that door, I would be safe. And I ran faster than I've ever run before. I got to the exit, and I pushed it open, thinking I was going to be free, and bam, there they were. I woke up in a big sweat, and I'm terrified, looking around, realizing I was in my room. Same dream, always ended the same way, and I never saw who I was running from. Fast forward to 2005, I'm lying on the floor of a yoga therapy session, and the psychotherapist is beside me, encouraging me to explore my body and go into my body and feel the emotions that were there present. And I felt this terror rise up in me again. And I felt like I wanted to run for my life. So the therapist was like, imagine yourself running. And just as I gathered all my strength and courage and was about to run, just like I ran every other time in that dream, a force inside me said, no, not this time. I'm done running. So she said, what do you want to do? I want to turn around and face it. I want to see what I'm running from. I'd never done that. So I took a deep breath. I gathered my courage, and I was about to face my biggest fear. And I turned around, and I started laughing. And she's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, there's nothing there. I'm running from nothing. I'm like, oh my God, I've been running from nothing. And then it hit me. And I got really sad. And I realized I was running from me. I was running from my gift. I was running from this force that was within me that was trying to come out, a force that was in me that was meant to be birthed through me. I was hiding this whole time. I was terrified to let it out. So it took me a while to embrace that, because as an intuitive healer, as a child, I thought I was cursed. I would sit in a room and watch everybody.
Foodie World presents Philippine Street, featuring a large selection of Filipino foods, from imported non-perishable products to both packaged seafood and locally caught and very much alive. Foodie World is 75,000 square feet of worldly groceries situated in North Richmond.
My name is Fender Benavides from Drive Promoters in Quillam, serving the Filipino community for the past 4 years. Whether you're looking for a minivan, car, truck, SUV, or a crossover, guaranteed financing available. I am here to help. Salamat po.